All right, so we're outside the Center for Entrepreneurial Studies. We're going to meet Bonita. She's the founder. We're going to hear all about who she is, what she's doing. So I'm excited. Come on, let's go. Let's do it. All right, so here we go. Meet Bonita.
Hi.
And we're in her store right now, and she's just giving us a quick little tour. And we're going to look around and see what she's got available. And if I have some questions, obviously, I'll ask them along the way. So let's go.
Oh, for example, Sophie. Sophie came to us as a sophomore in high school. She liked to make earrings, and I said to her, do you have a logo? Do you have a company name or anything like that? She said no, so we worked with her on getting her logo, getting her cardstock and whatnot. And then she developed kind of a following, both from her peers as well as pediatricians from in town, that were able to keep kids focused while they had their physicals. So Sophie, in the month of December, this past Christmas, made over $900 selling her earrings, which is
That's cool.
Amazing. She's a success story for sure. And then we also have other kids that are doing things like, I'll show you Jacob's work.
Who is Jacob?
Jacob is a homeschool student from up around Phillips area.
Okay.
He lives in unorganized territory, and he's been coming in to our makerspace and actually also making earrings, and then also making all kinds of little odds and ends, everything from shotgun shell, toothbrush holders
That is cool.
to things for hunting, and because he's a hunter.
Okay.
And he is totally repurposing every single little component of a bird that he might shoot.
Interesting.
So this is Jacob.
So this is him right here?
This is Jacob, yes.
Wow, that's really... How old is he?
Starting this business at 14, I'm hoping to able to sustain. So he's actually older than I thought he was. So he makes all kinds of things like this, like little earrings made out of shotgun shells, and then he also uses parts of the bird to do things like this, decorative items, as well as this is something that he just created recently, and it's a turkey wing brush agitator for hunting. So,
when you say how would you use that for hunting?
So what he does is, in order to, I guess, get a turkey to come out, he'll actually go like this onto the ground to get the scent, and then also the tracking as well.
Wow.
So yeah. So that's Jacob's work, and then of course we also have local vendors as well, that of people that are making things like John's Chip Off the Old Block. He makes a lot of wooden spoons and cutting boards and whatnot. And then we also have things that are made just by wholesale that we buy from wholesalers.
Okay.
And so kids are also learning about, how do I buy wholesale? How do I source product? What is the typical markup? What is the business aspect of running a store? So there's a lot of little moving components to this.
For sure.
And then in addition to that, kids are able to work in the store to learn about how it is that they should treat their customers, what is white glove service, what is, making sure that my drawer matches at the end of the day. So it's a little bit of a training, entrepreneurial, just business, all-encompassing type of project. And what we try to do is we try to have some wraparound services to make sure that the person is a whole. And then on top of that, we're doing the tiny house Making Home Possible project. The tiny house project is going to be coming up very quickly. We've hired an architect out of Rangeley named Ashley Farrar, wonderful woman, and we've met with the Career and Technical Education School here, the building construction department, and they're looking at getting involved in about 2 years, because they're actually already scheduled out 2 years.
Wow.
And then, and then we also are working with a builder who worked on a solar project here in Farmington. He ended up meeting a girl and fell in love and decided to move here and become a contractor. And so he's on board with us, and we've had a lot of people come in and say, sign me up for when you start building tiny homes.
Wow.
And
You mean as far as people who will labor-wise and they have skills to, work on the different aspects of the home? Yeah, okay.
And what's neat about it is that it's only 2 to start off with, and they're going to be 20 feet by 8 feet.
Okay.
We have the chassis that are actually being built. They should be done, I would say, any day now.
A couple of questions that we have is, one, so how far along specifically are you in the tiny home process? Like, where are you at right now in the process to get where you want to go?
Okay, so right now we're still waiting on. There's a piece of land that we looked at, 6-acre piece of land.
Just so you know.
There's a 6-acre piece of land. No, that's okay. 6-acre parcel that's right up on the high school road.
Okay.
We want it to be close to kids, so that way there's no barrier for transportation. So
That's smart.
that's like the most important part I see, because we have so many different things that are great that are going on in the community on outskirts of the hub of the school. And where there's a disconnect is that transportation and being able to get kids there and then home. So the school previous superintendent did say to me that they would get kids home on the late bus. So that would actually strip that barrier in getting kids to a place and then home. And then keeping them also occupied, so that way they're not getting into something that they shouldn't be getting involved with.
Right.
And every hour that we spend with them is one less hour that they're going to be vulnerable to something dangerous or someone that's dangerous.
And speaking
So-
of that, what are you seeing in this community that obviously the tiny homes, you want to have tiny homes for a reason. What are some of the things that are going on that have moved you to go in this direction you're going in?
A lot of addiction, a lot of poverty, a lot of mental health issues, situations of poverty that I just find, like, how is this still happening? I recently had a young lady show up at our door, and I was surprised to see her. And so she, in my mind, self-reported. She showed up here and said her name, and she instantly went into tears. And she was having some issues at home where she was losing her home and she was going to become homeless. And her family, unfortunately, had some mental health issues as well, and kind of abandoned her, leaving her just not knowing what to do, what were the next steps for her. And then within days of meeting with her, her mom was killed in a car accident. And so now she's left with this house that has no running water, no plumbing, and is beyond repair, and animals that she can't take care of, and she doesn't have a license. And she's living probably about 6 miles away out of town, but yet she manages to get herself to McDonald's to work as much as she can. And that's definitely really challenging, and that's a lot for a young girl to be handling who just graduated from high school. And to me, I feel as though she's the ideal candidate for a tiny home because her house is beyond repair, and this is going to give her a safe new start. So we're doing things with her, everything from, getting her food, to getting her license, to getting her driving hours, to all those things, so that way she can flourish as an adult. And then also being just super gentle and trying to get her to counseling, grief counseling, all of that, because right now she's at a point where she's had to just bury it. I mean, it's raw still for her. Her mom just died this past month, and we have to have like some serious mentors that are prepared to take on the magnitude of need that she has.
And how many people in this community would you say, while not in the exact same situation she is, how many young people are vulnerable to trafficking, being trafficked, being used, being abused? What is your assessment on that?
I think there's a lot. I see a lot of kids that are being used for everything from daycare to just kind of like a good time girl, which they're with dangerous people. They're experimenting with drugs, they're experimenting with alcohol, sex, all of it, and there are people that are opportunists that don't have good intentions, that are preying and grooming a lot of the young kids. And a lot of people like to say, oh, no, it's not happening, that's embellished. It's happening. Franklin County actually was one of the communities that was targeted by Purdue Pharma when Oxy was actually introduced into the industry, and it was because of body pain. It was for loggers, farmers, and coal miners. So they targeted rural Maine, and they also targeted Kentucky, I believe.
Wow.
Because they looked at where were the highest levels of pain being experienced in the United States, and it was rural Maine and Kentucky. So that's where they came, and they unfortunately flooded rural Maine, and a lot of the reporting sadly was not happening. And it's now in a point where we are fortunate to have a woman who was working in a methadone clinic up in Waterville, which is about 45 minutes away from us, who just recently came to Franklin County. And the reason why she did was because she was seeing all of her client base coming from Franklin County to Waterville as well as Bangor. And she said, what is happening in Franklin County that I need to know about? So thank God we got her. We got her here. Wow. So that she's been digging in and finding out why, and the reporting's now happening. Yeah. So thank God for that. And so we can actually get some accurate numbers about what is happening to a lot of the families here, because the kids are suffering.
And how many people in an ideal world, if everybody who needed a tiny home could get a tiny home, what would your just guess be about how many people are there out there who actually need what you're trying to provide?
Well, right now there's 60 families in hotels right now under rapid rehousing due to the American Rescue Plan Act. And they're going to start getting evicted. So there's about 60 right now, and I believe there's a waiting list. And that's what you know of. Yeah.
Versus how many kids are out there. I was homeless.
Yeah.
There's a lot of homeless kids out there, and they're the ones who are primarily, they're the most vulnerable to trafficking. Do you have any idea about how many kids are homeless?
Oh my gosh, no. The sad part about it is we don't have a youth center, and we don't have a homeless shelter here in Franklin County for adults or youth. So a lot of the numbers have kind of are unspecific. I think that there's a lot of kids that are just running dangerously, and they find us here when things get really icky. Last week I had about 5 kids that were mentioned just in a 1-hour session, just sitting down with somebody, and I don't have enough to serve them.
All right, well, you heard from her. My hope is that our goal is definitely to go on a journey, to be on a journey together. How can we help and serve her? Hopefully you can help us help them. And we want to give you more updates and let you know what's going on. So please stay tuned, stay with us, and let's fight together. Let's fight together.
Thank you.
Okay, so I wanted to end this video by just letting you know that I wish that you could have been with us when we went out to lunch and we talked more, because, the bottom line is there are things that Bonita could not say. Okay, and there's things that I'm not going to say that she told me. Heart-wrenching things. You know, you can't expose people when they're in the midst of of the fire, when they're coming out, and what's going on. You can't tell their story at that point, you know, to expose people. All right. So that's one thing. But let me just say that the need is great. That's, you know, the need is beyond great. In her county, there's no there's nothing for people who are homeless. And so when you have that type of situation, trafficking is going to explode. Another thing she said was, and I can say this, she said that someone who's been to a third world countries came to her county, her area where she's at, and saw what's going on in the community, what with the lack of support and everything that's going on. And she's like, this is like a third world country, the area where she's living in. I mean, it's rough. You know, and the other thing is that I will say is, and I'll use a different example, a woman from another country that I talked to was rescuing children, and her life was threatened because the traffickers, she was taking business from the traffickers. So this is reality, guys. And this woman, Bonita, she needs help. She is like one woman out there by herself trying to fight this fight with very little support. So I'm asking you, please, on behalf of Bonita, everything that she's trying to do to reach homeless people, young people in her community through these tiny homes, I'm asking you, please, if you don't drink coffee, donate. Just go to her website. You can make a donation, cesmaine.com. If you drink coffee, obviously, you can support her with every purchase. We'll give 100% of the profit to support the work that she's doing. And of course, spread the word. Whether you drink coffee or not, please share this. We've got to help this woman. I'm committed to help her. I'm going to do everything that I can, but me, myself, and a handful of other people, we're not going to make it. We need many, many more people. So I hope you'll be one of those people. And if you are, I'll just say it in advance. Thank you.